Hi, Mr. Tuttle. My name is Kevin, and I'm going to do my final project on sports psychology and how it helps people with many things, such as social development and psychological behavior. Sports helps people when they play because it just does a lot with motivated behavior. It increases your self regulation and does a lot with your intrinsic motivation. Self regulation, which is achieving goals and monitoring your progress. Okay, it also does a lot with social development and health. It builds strong relationships and you learn how to work with others and break this racial barrier. Look at the two guys in the picture. The two guys in the picture is Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Herman, who are two athletes from baseball players from the Brooklyn Dodgers in the 1950s. They both come from two entirely different backgrounds, and they were still able to coexist and became the best of friends because of the love of baseball. Sports also does a lot with your psychological health because it boosts your self-esteem and it reduces anxiety and also decreases the risk of cognitive decline, according to uh, our textbook, Experience Psychology, and also increase your self-perception. You can also gain benefits from being a spectator because sports just gives you optimism and hope by seeing your team succeed and looking at the athletes and what they were able to come through to get where they are today. It also enhanced the group inner group relationships, like what I explained with Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Herman. It also developed a foundation of community, which means that it's the best way to cope with stress after a tragedy or a natural disaster. Okay, playing sports does a lot with motivation because once again it just does a lot with self-regulation. You set goals and you monitor your progress. Like in sports, we all want to achieve something like score this many points or pitch this many innings. And to do that, you are monitoring your progress and letting go of all the obstacles, overcoming it, and just work hard and eventually you just reach your goals. And it just gives people a sense of meaning to keep on fighting if failures arise. Yep, and it also does a lot of intrinsic motivation, which means that we are doing this sport because we're curious and we just want to get better and see what it does for our body. And this is Bethany Hamilton, who she set goals to become a swimmer despite losing one of her arms, and it was progress, and she overcame all the obstacles and became one of the best swimmers, surfers in her age group. Sports also does a lot with social development and your health because it reduces the risk of ASPD, which is an antisocial disorder. Because sports requires lots of intimacy, which means cooperation with others, and this gives you strong nurturing skills such as communication and these skill and interpersonal skills. Which are some skills that could last for the rest of your life. For example, communication. From sports, I learned how to cooperate. You learn how to cooperate with others, and eventually that will carry on, and that will teach you how to talk to your family, people in your work, and other aspects of life. And sports also does a lot with depression because you are given lots of social support from sports because people are always pushing you to succeed and they're giving you tips to the best of your ability and how to overcome struggles. And this is pretty obvious, but sports does a lot with physical health. It reduces heart strains in the lower part of the heart. It also reduces obesity and the risk of many other diseases. And overall, it's just a much healthier lifestyle. Sports also does a lot with discipline. It shows that people who work hard will eventually succeed, and you can apply a discipline to all the other goals in life. And sports does the most with your psychological health. It gives us a healthier mind because it just reduces many types of stress, especially acute stress, which is stress that comes from a short period of time, such as a tragedy or a natural disaster. And sports does a lot with your happiness because it reduces your anxiety and it brings lots of endorphins into your body. You feel much better after playing a sport. because you feel some type of accomplishment. And it also increases your self perception, which is looking at yourself in the mirror and just feeling better about yourself, seeing that all the progress are eventually showing progress. Like after all of the hard time you spend in the gym, seeing gains and muscle, that's the result of the hard work you put in the gym. And sports, yeah, you can also gain a lot from sports by just watching it because of the optimism and hope that it brings you. Seeing your team succeed from injuries and pain and were able to reach your goals just give you hope that anything is possible. And hope is most brought out by athletes such as people from the Paralympics. These people were given the worst things that life can give you, such as a broken limb or amputated part of your body, and they were still, and some were still able to run a 5 minute mile. That's pretty remarkable. And you see a lot of the rag to riches stories, which are athletes that came from nowhere, like from a tough background, such as Richard Sherman, who grew up in Compton and was still able to earn a degree at Stanford, one of the most prestigious universities, and became one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. Legion of Doom. And it also teaches us development issues such as emotions and how to handle pressure and learning from mistakes. In sports, you see the best type of sportsmanship, people who still shake hands and console one another after a win or a loss. It just shows that everyone's equal. And it just also teaches how to handle emotions and pressure because athletes, they're given lots of criticism from the media and they're still able to succeed and prove them wrong. And the most important thing about sports is that it brings everyone together from disaster. And look, and examples like the FIFA World Cup, people countries were part of war and hatred towards one another, and they just ignore that and just work towards one common goal, which is win the soccer game. And I chose this topic because it really helped me out with my struggle in life. Because as a kid, I had depression and I was just really antisocial. From sports, I became much more confident in myself and I had a lot of motivation and believed that I can accomplish anything. And I applied this to the other aspects of my life. And it just gave me lots of self efficacy, which is believing that I can do anything. And it's just who I am today. Thank you, Mr. Tuttle, and it's really been an honor to be part of the class. Go Raiders!